What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Sean Lowery Show. I have a great guest today, Aaron B. Patton, who is the host of the New Age Influencers podcast, where he has huge guests on his show like Mikey Taylor, Brad Lee, many more. Great guests on your show. That's one of the best parts of your podcast, in my opinion, that I've been listening to lately. So what's up, man? Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's happening, Sean? Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Appreciate the intro.
Hell yeah. I know you're, an expert podcaster, getting going with it. And so tell me about your podcast a little bit.
Man, I just love podcasts. It's just, I think it's just like the secret society, the secret hack to just being excellent at anything, no matter what. Mine takes place in the online business and influencer space, but no matter what your interest is, fitness, welding, whatever, like you can create a podcast and you just give yourself a legitimate reason to reach out to amazing people in that industry and just not only, get exposed to them and collaborate with them, but just learn from them. So if you're starting out beginning, whether you want to build up your brand for your 9-to-5 job and get more clients that way for an online presence, or you want to start something on social, it's just the best way to go about it. So the reason I started mine was I spent about 6 or 7 years in the corporate software sales grind, and I just got to a point in my upper 20s where I was just like, man, I just don't want to do this for 10, 20, 30 more years. Yes, if I did do it and buckled down, that'd be fine for my income. I'd live a comfortable life. It'd be okay. But I would just be internally unhappy as far as what conversations I'm, having and what products I'm selling. It's like, I want some more meaning,
Yeah, exactly. That's so important. And it's never been a better time in the world to be able to do something like that with the internet, right? I've heard you talking a lot about how smartphones are just so amazing and everything's at our fingertips. And I think about that all the time too. It's incredible.
Smartphone society, man. It's just like, whether you are on board with it or not, you go outside and you go into like a public gathering and you're going to see at least half the people looking at their phones rather than looking up. So it's just important to understand that people's attentions right now are on the smartphone. Maybe again, I'm sure everyone listens to Gary Vee. It's like, that might not be the case in, 5, 10, 15 years, but it'll be a different thing. If it's not the smartphone, it'll be something else. Maybe it'll be like a Black Mirror plug in our forehead.
Would you inject technology into your brain?
I think that's a huge hurdle to get.
I would fucking do it. I'd do it. Whatever.
To get initial people on board with it, but I feel like I would be the person that maybe to do it. If it didn't I don't know.
I wouldn't be like the first guy, but I might be like the 10th guy or something.
Maybe the 1,000th.
All right. I'll go before you. But yeah, dude, that's awesome.
Who knows? But it's interesting times, and technology is just. It's just goes so fast, and people understand that it's going to get even faster as time goes on.
Absolutely, I love that. Like, look at us. We're talking across the country through a computer, like we're in the same room. It's amazing. It's like the It's like the Jetsons.
I love it so much. Yeah. So I left my corporate job and I actually stopped my stable income to go the unstable income route, which was playing poker. So I played a lot of poker. Poker was a serious hobby of mine for a while. It still is. But I thought to myself, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I just knew that I wasn't being fulfilled at this job. Not that there was anything bad with the company or the people. The culture is actually all fantastic, to be honest, but just, the conversations I was having, the demos, the product that I was selling, I wasn't passionate about. So I just wasn't happy there. And so I wanted to take a little leave of absence, maybe do some traveling, play some poker. If I didn't find anything that would turn me on, I'd say to myself, I can always go back and get another software sales job.
Did the poker like supplement your income?
Yeah. So the thing was, I started playing poker and I made a commitment to myself to publicly post all my wins and losses on Instagram.
Okay.
So I was literally like doing it with people, and I did the first 100 sessions anonymously. So I didn't have my face attached to it at all. So it was kind of like give me some slack and some leeway, because I was just jumping into this social media game. I wasn't sure if I wanted to just like put my face all over Instagram at first. So I kept track of it. I'm net positive, but I did not make nearly enough money to like replace my old income or to, create a lifestyle where I could just sustain it like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that. And to do that, it's really hard. It's a hard game. I'm not sure if anyone listening is familiar with the game of poker, but it's a hard game to win. People are getting better and better, and you have to spend a lot of time in the casinos if you're going to play
Yeah.
mostly live.
Yeah. I mean, I used to love gambling. I actually went through the stage in college where I was like a bookie, very short lived. But like poker is like the one gambling thing that like there's actually some skill involved and like some people are
Yes,
good, right?
there
Like,
is.
there's no career roulette players, right?
Yeah, well, there's some people that claim to be, but yeah,
Right.
that's a different slope. But yeah, I mean, a poker over the long term, if you're good and you have skill and you make positive EV, expected value decisions over time, you should be coming out ahead. But with the live poker aspect of it, there's just not a lot of hands that you see. It's not like on online poker where you can multi-table and play 9 tables at once.
Ah,
So live is much harder because your sample size is much lower, and so you could be playing really well, but getting unlucky those 20% of the times you're in big hands and still be losing money. And then on the flip side, you could be playing really badly and then just be getting lucky and think you're really good, but that's just short-term variance. So
yeah.
it's a slippery beast, and it's very
That's
hard to get
crazy.
a large sample size.
Last question about poker. Like,
Yeah, sure.
isn't there a big difference between, and I'm not an expert, but playing online and playing in a room, because isn't reading the people part of the skill?
Yeah, that's pretty much the main part of why I liked poker, is like so I could look people in the
Right.
eye, see what they're doing, their mannerisms, how they're
Right.
betting, their frequencies, like who they are as a person.
Right.
That it's stereotyping, but it's true. Like if you're playing with a grandfather, 80 plus years old,
Right.
chances are he's going to play pretty tight. Tight meaning
Yeah.
he's not going to play a lot of hands. He's going to play a lot of good solid holdings. But if you're playing with I don't know, some young
Some
Asian,
drunk college kid or
some
something.
drunk young Asian
Yeah.
kid with a bandana on his face, like he's probably going to be pretty wild. So it's going to be a little different.
Or
dynamic.
he's bluffing. You never know. But
yeah, you never know.
yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, so yeah, I want to get into like the thing you're doing with your video series. But the first question I have is like, so the New Age Influencers podcast. I know I've looked through your podcast. All the amazing guests you have is like, how do you define an influencer?
Yeah. So this is a conversation I've had multiple times with
Yeah.
people, and obviously it's called New Age Influencers, my
Right.
podcast, so it comes up a lot. But I think influencer, it used to have more of a negative connotation. It might still have somewhat of a negative
I don't think
connotation.
so.
Where I know, but some people
Some people,
who are still newer to the game,
right.
they think of influencer and they maybe just think of like someone self-promoting all the time, posting pictures of their bikini and like not really caring about anyone and just doing it for their own selfish interests, which is definitely always a part of something. You're obviously, any part of business, you're going to be, there's a selfish part of it. But the new definition of influencer is just like having some type of authority or credibility in some sort of niche, whether it's large or small, and then being able to help people in your tribe, whether your tribe is 200 or 300 people, or 2 or 3,000, or 2 or 300,000, or 2 or 3 million. Like just being a resource for your tribe and helping them by putting out free content. Content obviously meaning videos, pictures, images, audio, written word, just your thoughts, your feelings, your experiences, coupled with whatever your interest is, your skill, and just helping people get better in their lives through you influencing. So I think a lot of times influencing is not the best word, but it is the appropriate word that has been accepted now for how you get people to move to certain directions.
Like, would you consider Gary Vee an influencer?
Right. So like, yeah, he's an influencer, plus he's an entrepreneur, businessman, speaker, thought leader.
It's one of his many hats that he has.
Yeah, Gary Vee is a top dog, obviously.
I fucking love Gary Vee. Like, I'm actually like sick of him because like I like him so much that like, and I kind of like have learned all his lessons and stuff. But
yeah, so I've learned all his lessons too. Like that was the first podcast I started really listening to back in towards the end of my corporate job grind. And it's like, I call it the Gary Vee tick. So the Gary Vee tick was in the back of my head all the time. And I was like working at this job and I would just be listening to a podcast. Like it's like, he's like saying, fuck your job. And I'm working at this job. And he's like, what the hell are you doing? And I'm like, I think he motivates a lot of people to do that. But one of his things is that, if you're truly taking my advice, you at a certain point stop consuming my content. And so that's what happened for me. Like I'm doing my own thing, focusing on my own stuff. So I don't watch, I watch maybe 1 out of 10 of his videos now.
I like when he does like a shorter clip. Like I never watch like the weekly V. It's like too long and too much like entertainment type stuff that I'm not interested in.
Yeah, I scroll through the weekly V. I don't watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see what he's up to. It's behind the scenes stuff. We're reality show addicts. We're human beings. We like to see what other people are doing. That's why Instagram stories documenting your daily life,
exactly
is addicting.
Exactly. All right. So yeah, you started your podcast and you said, I heard you was listening to some of your stuff. You said you haven't been trying to monetize for basically like the first year, right? Like
Right. Yeah.
that was that. And that is, I mean, I'm in the same stage. Like I have my own business that like is e-commerce business. And
I saw that. Yeah.
we actually pay influencers too, which I was thinking we pay like girls to like wear our clothes and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, but yeah, so like I'm in the same boat. I'm not really trying to make money. I'm just doing it for fun. And I mean, when else would I talk to you like for no reason? Like, but now we have like a cool reason to connect and everything. So I love that. But so now you're doing that. You have this like this new course, right? These 7 stages that everyone needs to go through, and you've talked to so many huge people on your podcast that you have a lot of like experiences that you learn from them, right?
Yeah. So really, I, like you said, for the last year, I haven't done any type of monetization or trying to think about it. Yeah, I've done some consulting, mostly for free,
Okay.
here and there, a couple paid, but not too much. I didn't want to put a large amount of effort into being a consultant.
Okay.
But that's what I claimed is kind of the first year, just because I could help people with a podcast if they want
Right.
to and all that. But what I really want to do is just allow people to take their talents or skills or personality or whatever, whether or not they have a job or they want to start a business or a brand, and allow them to learn a framework for how to go about building an online brand properly with content creation. Because there's just so many people out there that just do it so poorly, or just think that they're doing it right, but they're just not doing it correctly. And yes, there's different ways to skin it for everyone, and everyone's different. But there's a couple, there's some really clear commonalities between everyone who's made it, all these people that I talk to every Monday on the interviews, and clear tendencies of people who don't make it. So I want to be like the bridge for people to give the knowledge to people that need it from the people that have the knowledge. So I heard something the other day from, I think it was Ty, who said, I'm like a gold miner. And I just love that. It's like, yes, I'm like a gold miner for knowledge. Like I'm just trying to
That's
grab
awesome.
the best pieces of gold from everyone's heads that have made it, and just like disperse it out to the common crowd and allow them to get some semblance of that success in whatever they're doing.
That's
So
awesome. That's awesome.
yeah, so those 7 stages, like I just recently packaged it and created it and organized it. I haven't like done any promotion of it. I haven't even posted one time about it on my personal profile yet. So this is kind of like the first step into it. But
I signed up for it.
I appreciate it. I'm doing a test group right now where I'm doing the content, sending the videos to people, and we talk every single Wednesday. And I'm still going to continue with that for the next month or two. And then
Okay.
in the spring, I'll be releasing like all the content together for the public, and then attaching a small like
Cool.
founders fee, and then having to escalate upward. But yeah, this is my first toe into it. But I wanted to set up a vehicle where I could scale it, and where I wouldn't get tired of it, and where it
Right.
would actually be helpful,
Yeah.
rather than just like trying something and not having it work, and then having to completely shift and pivot. So I'm in
Right.
this for the long term, baby. So
Yeah. That's
we're
important.
just
That's
getting
important to
going.
be committed. Sure.
Yeah,
And
we're
who
just
would you
getting
say
going.
is like the target person that would sign up for it?
Yeah. So a lot of times there's, so I have sections that I talk about where you're defining your industry, your niche, your audience, and all that. And it's important
Right.
to have that, and like, writing out your avatar, right?
Right.
But I think also a lot of times it's very important to understand that you as a person, your personal brand, your messaging, your stance is what's going to attract the right audience to you as well. So I think just being authentic automatically
Yeah.
attracts the right people. So like, for example, a woman in her 50s and 60s is not going to be necessarily as attracted to my content and my take on things and my personality as a younger bro type
Yeah.
human being,
Yeah.
like just out of college trying to figure it out. So like my podcast and message and stuff, and what I do and where I am in life appeals more to the younger male demographic. So that's the majority of my audience. Not to say that, a 50 or 60-year-old woman could not be in my audience. There's definitely people like that in my test group. So it doesn't matter. But like, I think it's important to understand that there's a demographic side to things, and then also a psychographic side to things, is how people think. And
Right.
that's a long-winded answer to saying that just be yourself, and the right audience will attract to you. But right now, it's probably the younger males.
Okay. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Cause yeah, that's like similar to what you are. And I mean, do you want to get into like the 7 stages, or do people got to sign up for the course? Like,
Dude, I'll give the 7 stages up right now. So like I said, or like you mentioned or alluded to, it's just like a loose framework success path for how to create your first dollar online. And then in my opinion, the best vehicle to take that to scale it. So, I myself am towards the end of that stage trying to get into the tool to scale it. And I've gone through the first 6 stages, and I'm always going to still, be in some of those stages. But it's important just to understand, a whole total framework so people can pinpoint where they are and then where they want to go. So that's really important, I think, in 2020, because there's so many course slangers out there and info products and digital products and all that. And people launch and they sell and they get people to buy them. But then the people who buy them, like 80% of them don't go through the whole course or the whole info. And then even less of those people actually implement it in their lives. So I think it's really important to have to set yourself apart, not only in 2020, just to be different and have a good message, but also to be, reachable to your people on a consistent basis, whether that's through like a Zoom call like this, or you just do like a, all hands mastermind call or something, but just being available for people. And that's also how you can set yourself apart from like the big guns. They're ramping up the knowledge broker series for like Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi and all those people next week. And yeah, they're going to get thousands and thousands of people in there because they have a strong brand. But if you think that you're going to be able to talk to Dean one-on-one every single week and get actual help, him looking at your specific account and helping you right then and there for what you want to do, like, you would be dead wrong. Like, so that's where people who don't have as big of a brand can actually implement and help people and actually make money online even better than the people that have already made it. So saying that as a precursor, the 7 stages, in my opinion, they all start with C's, so it's easy to remember.
Nice.
So I go over change stage, clarity stage, content stage, connection stage, consultation stage, credibility stage, and then the last stage is what my opinion was for the best way to scale income. I call it the CAAS stage. So it's like CAAS, content as a service. Okay. So essentially you turn yourself into a SaaS company. So like software as a service, content as a service.
Okay, I like it.
You turn yourself into a Netflix. And not to say that you have to pump out all this content all the time, and you're on the content, treadmill and you're getting real stressed out. No, it's like you create some initial content and then you constantly are active helping people implement the information that you have. So I can go into each stage if you like. I'm not sure how much time we have today, but I can definitely do that. Or if you have any questions right now before we jump into it.
I mean, yeah, run through. So yeah. I have them up here too. So change stage.
Yeah.
Let's do like a couple sentences about them. That's kind of probably, change stage. Go for it.
Change stage, baby. It's change stage is changing your mindset. So I run an Instagram account called New Age Mindsets, where it's just really kind of adopts these values where it's about having a good time producing your content and having a long-term vision and being patient. So there's lots of different thought models under this stage that I'm not going to go into today, but it's just
actually I wanted to ask you about that. So you have your personal Instagram, and then you have the one for the New Age Influencers podcast, which is like all your guests. And then you have the New Age Mindsets, and that is like, that's more like fun content, or what's like the purpose like behind that one? Because I love some of the stuff on there.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah. So what I want to do, there's millions of motivational accounts, right? And there's millions of like funny, entertaining accounts. And I wanted to create a hybrid of both of them. So that not only were people getting entertained and laughing their asses off, but in the captions, most of the captions, it'd be some type of valuable tip for life advice, for how to think differently in 2020 in the smartphone society, and how to, really set up your mind to allow yourself to go after what you want and take action, have fun, all these different, indications of being successful in the smartphone world. So
so that part's important in the smartphone world. So that's like that's part of the change stage, is like understanding like the age we're living in and all that. So it's like jokes about that and like realizations about that, and also like some humor about it. That one has like the most like following that I saw out of like all of them.
Yeah, that one's morphed a couple times too. Like when I first started it, it's just about, again, the mindset is taking action is a huge one.
Yeah.
One of the most common mindsets that you need to have is like act fast. Decrease the time between thought and action. And so if you do that and you continuously take action, something will occur. Like you can pivot based on user feedback, audience feedback. So like my Instagram account started out as something completely different. It actually was called Daily Advice for Men. And I was literally like posting pictures of attractive women because when I first got into the Instagram game, I was like, these are the pictures that are getting the most likes. So I was like, I'm just going to post these pictures and then maybe do a helpful caption. And I was also posting like fitness advice and mindset advice and like monetary advice, like for all these things that I thought like younger males might
I'd follow that in a second.
Yeah, so I got a lot of followers of it, but I realized that a lot of these followers are just following for the pictures. And like, that's not the way
the
I
hot
want
chick pictures.
Yeah, that's not the way I want to do it. So I switched it up. I changed it a couple times, but now it's in a place where I can repeat it. So it's in a good place now, and
Cool.
it's a good model. So I
Cool.
like it. And it just reminds me to not only do I have to post every day. Actually, right now my account's currently banned until Tuesday. But
Dude, actually had that happen to me lately too. I feel like Instagram's really cracking down on that.
They really crack down. So like I mass message people all the time, like not all at once, but I like send a lot of messages.
Yeah.
So it got flagged for some reason and I can't post until Tuesday now. So, and I heard that's happening to a lot of
Dude, it happened on me and it happened to our United Monograms account. It has like 130,000 followers. And the only thing we were doing was commenting on all of our customers who tagged a picture of us. We just put like a little heart emoji or you look so cute. Right. Like I have my customer service person doing it and they like said we can't do it. So Instagram's like really cracking down. But
and I was sending voice DMs. Those are customized DMs. Like it's crazy. So,
like it's not you. It's not spammy, but interesting.
Yeah. But that's a whole other conversation. But,
exactly. But then you got the clarity stage, right?
Then we got the clarity stage. So that's getting, defining who you want to serve, your audience. We talked about that a little bit already. Like what problem are you going to help people, solve? Because that's the biggest thing in online business. People go online to, consume content, but then if you can also couple that into a problem that they have and identify it and then solve it immediately for them, through knowledge, education, or just maybe just entertain them, that's a problem that's solved. Is like being able to have laughs. Like that's, that's something that people do. So just getting clear on what you want as far as your audience to be, your niche, your account strategy going forward, so to speak. So
so for some people that's like fitness or entrepreneurship or comedy.
Yes. So a big thing is that a lot of people, and the big thing with this stage is that so many people are getting the advice to, I want to just follow my passion, right? I love this. I will follow it. But it's just, there's a grain of salt with that because there's really three buckets. There's three buckets of passion. Like you can be passionate about something. Like, for example, if you're passionate about race cars and you want to go all in business for race cars and you want to be a race car driver or whatever, and post videos about you racing cars, that's one route to go for sure, except that's going to be pretty hard. It's going to be pretty difficult. Number two, you can put your passion into just maybe something around race car, like work for a race car company or create a race car type product. So just you're around the industry of race cars or NASCAR or whatever it is. And then number three, if you like racing cars and you want to spend all your time racing cars, but you don't really want to spend all of your working professional time in that industry, well, just figure out how to create a lifestyle to give you more free time so that you can race cars. So the most logical choice for that would be get into some type of passive income game, like a real estate or like some type of online business game, and just try to make your lifestyle around, creating wealth and free time so you can do your hobby more. So a lot of people, they're like following this like passion advice and it's just not serving them, because if you love knitting fucking sweaters, but you have to hit a quota to knit 100 sweaters because you have to make it your business, it's going to change the game.
It's going to make you hate it. Yeah. I actually recently did a video about that. I said too many people give the advice, oh, I want to start a business. And they're like, what do you like as a kid? And it's like, I like chocolate and video games. All right, start a chocolate and video game blog. No, not necessarily. Like, so that's why I'm like the entrepreneurial type. That's why I just like, I get my passion like from the like running the business. That's the fun part for me. I sell girls clothing. Like my fiance like helps with like the style part of it, but I love like hiring employees, figuring out the processes. And like that's where the passion comes from, like building the business. So like
exactly, it's a full contact sport. It's just like taking action and following your interests, and then from your interests, like it branches off into like a passion of building something you care about.
Like, so that's the clarity, understanding that, like understanding what, like you're thinking,
and also understanding that like shit, you don't have to figure it out right away. Just try to do your best to figure it out now and go that path, and it might completely change for you.
Yeah.
Just be okay with that, because
pivot. I call it a pivot. Like
success and clarity and all that, it's a moving target. Why? Because as human beings, we're aging and growing. Like 21-year-old Aaron cares about way different things. 21-year-old tailgate South Carolina Gamecock Aaron cares about way different things than, post 30 Aaron here in San Diego. So it's just, you have to understand that.
Absolutely. That makes sense. And then content stage, right? That's about putting stuff out, producing.
Yeah. So I say, if you're going to get serious in the online game, you need to have a pillar content strategy. So that's, you have a content strategy like a Netflix show, something that's reliable and repeatable that you can produce at least weekly. And so this is either a YouTube, a blog, or a podcast. And why those three? It's because those three are evergreen / searchable. They're not like an Instagram account, not like a Twitter account. They're not like Facebook or LinkedIn or TikTok.
You post once and then it's gone.
It's your content here is your tentpole. It's your pillar strategy.
Okay, right.
Because people can find it 3 years down the road when they just get exposed to you. They can go back and they can find your stuff. So that's key. Having a YouTube, a blog, or a podcast, and then surrounding that tentpole content with one or two platforms that you kind of want to go all in on, like an Instagram, like a LinkedIn, like a Twitter or a TikTok now,
right?
Whatever it is, and when you're starting out, a lot of people think that they have to be on all of the platforms. You hear Gary Vee yelling, I want to post 100,000 pieces of content a day. It's like, that's just, you can't do that if you don't have a team and you're just starting out. So just focus on one or two surrounding platforms. Mine's Instagram, and I'm going to be getting into LinkedIn really heavily soon.
Yeah, I noticed you didn't have a big on YouTube.
And I don't have any YouTube. That's
just like one that you just like, you kind of punted on it.
Eventually I will have a YouTube channel, but again, I don't want to. YouTube is just a whole nother beast that takes more of my time, and I don't want to just post the same podcast content on YouTube. I want to have the YouTube strategy be different than a podcast. Strategy. So at this point in time, I'm just focusing on, again, I need to create a digital community here, make a little bit of money, get some more freedom here.
Yeah. Do you have anyone helping you with content at all?
No.
Okay.
Like assistants or anything? No, I do it all myself.
Yeah, that was one thing for me when I started the podcast. I was and I wanted to kind of put stuff out because I have some YouTube videos and Instagram. My guy Brandon right here, who also went to USC. In Columbia, yeah.
Columbia, baby.
He's a lot older than you, I think. But I was I'm not gonna. I know I'm gonna need some help with it because I'm busy running my business and stuff like that. So I actually, I guess I had the luxury of being able to do that since I'm a little more steps above in my actual business.
Yep.
But that was one thing I was I know I'm gonna need because I suck at editing videos and stuff.
Yeah, and I will eventually for sure be outsourcing all of the non-skilled tasks like editing or set appointment setting, all these different things. Eventually, I'll be outsourcing all of that. But right now, I don't.
Cool. But I like your Netflix analogy because I think consistency matters for sure. I mean, that's why I try to do it weekly, or I do on my podcast every week for 32 weeks. Because I know that things are consistent. People start to expect it and it's going to take time. But I think consistency is one of the most important elements of
so important.
Yeah.
If they can count on you for a specific day or week, I put out an interview every Monday and a solo episode every Thursday, and that's been happening for over a year. So people understand that, so they understand when it's going to get published. It's like a TV show. You like a TV show and you're watching it every Sunday, but then it goes away and they skip a week. You're pissed. Dude, what are you going to do? You're going to watch something else. So
this is the dumbest story. I'm on my commute from home to work. There's this little parking lot, and this guy put up this pizza or coffee and bagel thing in the morning. I was that's awesome. And he had this jagged, crappy sign. And the first day I didn't know, I already had coffee. But then the second day I was all right. And then the third day I was going to go, but he wasn't there. And it was Wednesday. And I was
that's right.
Wow. And then he's been there a few times, but I was that is why consistency matters. To me, I found out about it, then I was going to go, and he missed a day and it threw me all off. And I'm
it's so true because if you miss one day and it's well, are they going to be there the next week?
And then you're just fuck it. Then you're just
the next week, and then you're well, I'm going to go to someone that I know is going to be there every week.
Exactly. So that's important.
The Netflix mentality.
I love that.
Yeah.
Content stage. So then connection.
And so the connection stage. So that's where this is where a huge misconception is as well. I think it's slowly starting to shift as more and more people put out content. But if you think that people are just going to come and watch your videos or listen to your podcast or like your pictures just because you put it up, well, then you're sadly mistaken.
You're wrong.
If you're starting out, you have to grab eyeballs and just throw them on your stuff, or grab ears and throw them on your stuff. Like, and you do that by DMing people, by sending emails, not in an annoying way, but like a very non-confrontational or non-commitment type of way. So like, I send a lot of messages in my DM for New Age Mindsets to people that have liked or interacted or commented on my past videos or pictures. Like, hey Joe, I just want to say, this is Aaron. I really appreciate you, recently liking some of my pictures. Thanks so much, man. And I'm not sure if you're aware, but I do have a podcast. So if you ever get some free time to check it out, please do. Give me your opinion and feedback would mean a lot to me.
That's
Something
awesome.
like that.
That's like hand-to-hand combat.
It's like genuine, hand-to-hand combat. And so like, as part of my morning routine, I wake up at like, whenever I wake up, and then I send 25 messages to strangers. That's how I start my day. Wow. I was just talking about that to Lance. He does the University show. It's a pretty good show. He's like, I saw him on
your Instagram. He just lost all his followers, right?
He just lost all his followers. It's a whole nother conversation. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. But he's fine. He's a podcast and some other things.
Okay.
But so I was talking about that. He's like, in the 160 interviews I've had, no one's ever said that. I was like, good. I'm glad. So like, and he's
so it's your morning routine. 25 people. You just kind of say, hey, and what do you say? You say, just check out my podcast.
Just what I just said, like 15, 20, 25 people, like just an appreciation DM. So not only does it help improve the brand and get some new followers or listeners or whatever, but it strengthens that relationship, but it also puts me just in like a gratitude state. So like, for the
do you ask for a specific thing? Like, will you leave a review, or do you just say, okay? I noticed you had tons of reviews on your podcast.
I never asked for any reviews.
Okay.
Of anything, but yeah, a good hack for that though is that you can do review exchanges with other podcasters if you're just starting out. So like, get a little momentum going, because
I've never done that. That's a good idea.
When you have a podcast, the only things that are visible is your cover art, your reviews, and then your actual episodes, right? So,
right. Okay, that's smart. Maybe we can do one.
Yeah, for sure.
But connection stage is about connecting with your audience, right?
Connecting with your audience, building a foundation. Again, Gary Vee, he stayed up till 3 a.m. every day for like 4 years, tweeting back people, hundreds and thousands of people. Like, that's how he built his foundation. So it's kind of like a gratitude-based connection. Just gratitude-based connection, getting eyeballs and ears to your stuff. And again, after that, that's all you can do. All you can do is like put your content out, the best quality you have, and allow people to consume it. And if they like it, then they'll stay. If they don't, they'll leave. So that's what it's about.
Yeah. And then just like some people might get discouraged after they do 75 and get nothing, but it's just about kind of keeping going, right?
Well, I mean, most of the time, if you're just DMing people that are, regular people with maybe a couple hundred, couple thousand followers, whatever, not like influencers or like business people, like, they're going to see the message at least probably 90, 95% of the time. And even if they don't respond, you can bet your ass they're looking at your account. And if they like what your account's about, if they like the content and all that, they may throw you a follow. Maybe not, but probably a lot of people, even if they don't throw you a follow, they'll probably check back in with you every once in a while, because you're one of the few strangers who actually took the time to send them a DM. And if you send a voice DM, that's even crazier. I get so many responses like, oh my God, man, like I've never gotten a voice DM. That's the coolest thing I've ever gotten.
That's cool.
And from an account with, 25,000+ followers, like it makes it even sweeter.
Yeah. So. And if they don't follow the first time, maybe the next time they might come across your feed or something, they hear about you. Then the second time they'll be like, I know that guy. That's probably how and then it adds up over time.
Yeah. They're like, cool. I follow all these meme accounts and no one's ever taken the time to send me anything. Like,
that's awesome.
Like that. So he's like, I appreciate you, bro.
That's a good little specific strategy. I love it.
Yeah.
So that's a connection stage. And
then consultation is the next one. So that's where, a lot of people skip this step, and you shouldn't, because, after you get some experience putting out content, after you got some eyeballs or ears on your content or whatever, like you can start to morph and customize your content to serve your audience better. Because at the beginning, you're just kind of guessing for how people want to, see things or hear things or what they want to know. But if you start having conversations with people, one-on-one, private conversations like this, maybe like not just a DM convo, but like where you're looking someone in the face, you can get real feedback from them, then you'll be able to better serve, that type of person in the future. So you can ask them, what do you like about this? Or what don't you like? Or what do you think I could do better? Or what would you like to see? And you have like 10 or 15 or 20 of those conversations, and you'll get a real damn good idea.
And are those people like potential listeners? Or like...
Yeah, they are current listeners.
So
or people that
you just have to ask them to take their time to do it.
ask them to take the time to do it. Or if you want to go just slightly different route, you could try to possibly monetize at this stage, where you can attach a fee to something. Or if you want to, again, if you're a podcaster, you want to help someone launch a podcast, you say you have
Right.
a rate of like, I don't know, $200 an hour or whatever it is, and they hop on and they're willing and they want to learn from you because you have a podcast that they like. Yeah, you can help them with that, but then also ask their feedback.
Okay.
Or just help them for free. I mean, just help them in the
Yeah.
beginning. You're not going to be able to charge a lot, so
Yeah.
just help them for free, launching their own idea and their own podcast. And then on the back end of that conversation, ask them, by
Okay.
the way, what was it about my podcast that drew you
Right.
to me or drew you to this? And how do you think it's going? And do you have any
Okay.
suggestions for me?
Yeah.
So
So you're giving value and getting feedback.
exactly.
So,
Just getting in the trenches, because not only does it help you improve your content, but it will help position your mind for future like products and services that you might want to offer. So a lot of people are just like offering products and services that they think people want, but they don't
right.
validate it. And so you could spend like, I don't know, 3 weeks or 3 months creating this beautiful course and all this stuff. And then you put it out there in the world and no one responds to it. I mean, granted, it's going to be
Right.
very hard in the beginning for anyone to get
Right.
no response, but like if it's not the right product audience fit, then you're going to have a hard time to
Yeah.
make it. So
Okay. That's great. That's a good one. A lot of these advisors are in the, like you said, in the trenches. Like
in the trenches.
I should probably be doing more of that. Like, yeah, just like DMing, connecting one-on-one people. Like that's how it builds up. And I mean, I have like I said, for my business, I have a person on staff who answers like every customer comment, every DM. Like, so for my own stuff, I should probably be doing
That's
more of
good.
that.
Yeah, well,
But
that's good. Yeah, it hits different though when it's like if you see someone send you an auto message back or some assistant send it versus the person who's actually like in the show,
right,
host the show.
right,
It's just a different feeling.
true,
So,
yeah,
but I know
okay,
that lots of people have lots of stuff going on, but if you can make that extra effort, it'll do wonders.
yeah, yeah. That's great advice because like it'd probably be different for like my consumer business and like my podcast. But it's funny because like I've had tons of success with that, and like now I'm kind of in the early stages of podcasting, and I'm just like some of this advice is great for me. Like I know the principles, but I haven't implemented it just for this yet. Cause I'm doing it for fun and everything.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's great advice. So then, credibility stage.
Credibility stage. So that's where
That's
at
earned, probably, right?
this point you're starting to get some notoriety in your space, right? And you're building up some reputation and authority in your niche. And again, authority alignment is one of the best ways to do that. So
Authority alignment.
if you have a show where you're interviewing people that are known in the space and they associate with you and they repost your stuff, or
Yep.
just like you've had them on, like
Yep.
people start to lump you into the conversation with
Yep.
them, and it's just
Yep.
automatically going to increase and elevate your authority, no matter what. Like even if you're just starting out, you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Like
Yeah.
the fact that you are sitting down with someone and getting an hour of their time, and they're a multimillionaire, or
And just even like the picture of you guys next to each other, just a visual, like just authority bump.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that's a part of it. And then again, credibility is just like appearing on shows like this. So I've been doing a lot of shows recently. You start to just build up your credibility when you're putting your best foot forward out there in the public. If you get articles written about you, and the best part about this, the best piece of advice for this stage is that you need to leverage social proof. Social proof means results from your clients or happy customers or happy people, that saying some good things
Listeners.
about. Yeah, whatever. Like you've got to leverage social proof. That'll be the biggest sales tool you'll ever have, more so than any type of personality or tactic that you have, or the look or whatever. Like if you can show the public that you've gotten other strangers results from what you have helped them with, that'll be the biggest sales tool ever. So part of the tactics I'm doing for this test group is that I'm helping all these people for free. I've been doing it for a while, and I plan on to continue that. But then once I make the program public, I'm going to be like, well, I love you guys, but I only want people in this actual program that see the value of the system. So if you see the value, I would ask that you please, send me a testimonial or a case study for how I've helped you in the past couple of months. And if you haven't seen the value, you won't be willing to do it, and therefore you won't be in the program. But that's kind of a natural weeder of
And then where do you think you'll post that on like stories or a post or Twitter?
So you post the stories
It's everywhere.
post your social media platforms. But the most important thing is that you post it on your sales page, your sign up page. People see your stuff, and then they see the testimonials from people who've gotten results or like been helped positively. So they know that you're not a scammer, because this day and age, there's so many scammers out there, the online game especially, that people need validation. They need that assurance that other people have been in your stuff and are surrounded by you, and you've helped them. So that's just really, really important. So
Awesome.
credibility. Yeah, that's
Credibility.
key.
And then the last one is this phrase that you made up that makes perfect sense, right?
CAS or CAS or however you want to respond.
It looks like CAS.
Yeah. Because it's SaaS. It's SaaS. But
SaaS,
I always thought to my
right.
head, I was like, isn't it supposed to be SaaS for how it's spelled? SaaS. But it's obviously
everyone
SaaS.
says SaaS, and that's like a well-known thing. And this is a play on that. So it's CAS.
CAS. Yeah, CAS. So
content as a service.
So
okay.
two big reasons why this would work is that, one, just because the e-learning boom is massive, right? They reference these numbers all the time. Dean and Tony and all these, like they project that the e-learning industry is going to be $325 billion industry by 2025. Billion with a B, not with an M, which is insanity. So people are used to buying things online. People are used to selling things online. People are used to learning online, and people are used to buying knowledge online. So it's growing. It's a shift. And self-education is becoming more and more prevalent over formal education.
Right.
Unless these public institutions can change. But it's so hard for such, these big monsters to change with the rapidly growing technology trends that it's just like, it's almost impossible for them. So that's going to be growing even bigger. And then the other big one is the rise of the subscription economy. So if you go on YouTube and you type in subscription economy, you'll probably get videos brought up by, I think it's Zian Tu or something. I don't know. He's the CEO of Zura. So Zura helps bigger companies adopt the software as a service model, meaning that you are paying a monthly fee, a subscription-based fee for a constant service. And so that's what this CAS model is that it's a membership subscription-based model where people pay you a monthly fee to get access to your content, your knowledge, but also to get assistance from you as the expert. And getting assistance from you on a regular basis is key. So the reason why this is more important is because so many people just sell the information, right? And then they don't implement it. But with this service, you sell the information, you give the people the information, and then you hold them fucking accountable for actually implementing it.
Because you said no one executes, you said. So
no one executes. So you hold them accountable. Like, Will, did you actually set up that Instagram account? Like Sarah, did you make that Fiverr logo? You can ask them these things. And then if they say no, it's like, well, no wonder you're not having these results. When most of the time they say that they don't get results, and then maybe they write something bad about your product at work, when in reality, Sarah was just too fucking lazy to make Fiverr logo and start her actual idea on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's just it's something where you just hold people accountable, and it just strengthens the bond over time.
That's so
and you
important.
don't have to have one-on-one conversations and just like suck up all your time. You can literally position it like I positioned it, where you can have one call a week or 2 calls a week with whoever's on board to jump on the call at that day or that time.
Yeah.
And you can record it. You can repost it in a Facebook group.
Yeah.
Lots of different intricacies and strategies to make it happen and scale your knowledge and just multiply yourself online. Because that's the beauty of the system, is that you can scale your income, talk to more people, but you don't have to give up more of your time. Whereas if you were a consultant and you got 200 more clients in one day, maybe you get reposted in an article in Forbes or something, and that's great for you and your business. But you get 200 new one-on-one clients. There's no way you can manage 200 new one-on-one clients if you don't have a model set up where you can help them all at one time. That's impossible to do. So that's why this model, in my opinion, is the best way for people without a huge following to make money online, and then be able to scale it massively in the future with constant small efforts over time.
That's awesome. Yeah, accountability is so important. So yeah, I love that. Those are 7 great stages. This is like a new thing for you, right? And dude, I think you're gonna be successful with it. Are you excited? You're excited about it?
Oh yeah, I'm pumped for it, man. I'm ready to start, really diving into it. I say that I've been a bricklayer for this past year, months. Just been laying bricks again, living in the poorhouse here. Well, I've actually bought a condo here in San Diego, so I'm not too horrible off.
How have you been having money from your old job still, or like?
Yeah, so I saved up a lot of money to be able
Saved
to
up.
have a long runway. You know, I was traveling. I was Airbnb my place out as well to supplement
Nice.
it.
So you've been just figuring it out.
Poker helped a little bit.
Poker.
You know, I've cashed out some stocks. I've actually made some good money in Canadian pot stocks.
No, aren't they like penny stocks or something like that?
Canadian pot stocks, not penny stocks.
Okay, yeah, and like it's legal. It's legal there now, right?
Yeah.
That's how you made the money.
I bought it before it was legal.
Nice. There you go.
So
that's great.
That was a little boost. So just little things here and there, and then
Okay.
But,
that's
not
amazing.
not the best financial strategy, but I'm making it work because I know.
Buy pot stocks. That's the best advice we can give you. No, that's awesome. But all right, so one thing I want to ask you, like, I think I know the answer, but like, I want to like some better. All of your guests are huge. Like, I went back to your first episode to see who it was, like to see if you.
Stevie.
How do you get such big guests? Like, I think you're gonna say. I go and I just DM them. Like, is that like is there a little more secret sauce to that? Like, because they're all big, like huge, right? Like,
yeah. Well, also, I feel like I have a good eye for some people. Like, I look at enough accounts where I know if someone has some good potential. So, like Stevie, when I interviewed that guy, he was at like, I don't know, 22K.
Okay.
Now he's at almost 200K.
Okay.
Just had really good.
So
talent.
just using that like same eye that got that stock early.
Yeah, but I knew he was going to be good. I knew he was going to be big. But I mean, I got like Hammy TV was a prank couple. They have like 8 million. I think they're my biggest. He's my biggest one on so far.
Okay.
But I was incredibly surprised when he responded. He's like, "Yeah, bro, let's do it." And we hopped on the next day. So he was just like, I think he was in the frame of mind. It was just the right timing. At that point he had like 2 million followers, which is still obviously a massive
huge
amount.
Yeah.
And he just hopped on the things like, yeah, let's do it, man. It just took like 1 or 2 reschedules and we did it.
Have there been a lot of people that you reached out to that you'd love to have that you haven't heard back from?
Oh yeah. So in the beginning, the percentage rate, I would reach out to 100 people.
Okay.
And then maybe 30% would actually see the message. And then
how do you know? It says red.
Well, yeah. So they probably saw them, or maybe they saw the message, but they didn't accept the message.
Gotcha. Okay.
You're not a follower of them.
Okay.
They don't see it.
Okay.
So from 30%, maybe it says seen. So you have the read receipts, right? And then maybe out of those 100, again, 30% say seen, but out of those 100, maybe 10% respond and say they're down for it. Okay. And then out of those 10%, maybe 2 or 3 of them say they're willing to hop on an interview. And then maybe 1 shows up. So I just repeating that thing over and over. So that's what helped my sales skills in the past. That helped me with this DM strategy. I had an Excel sheet. I had it when I reached out, what I said, if they read it or not. So it's very organized with the follow-up and the prospecting over the DMs. And I had my concept. I had my cover art all made. So I pitched the concept to them, and they seemed to be on board with the concept most of the time. So I think it's just important to have some of your ducks in a row with what you want your show to be, what it's about, and then just sending constant DMs. And
just hustling.
But then once you get your first 6 or 7 or 8 guests, then you can leverage those guests into other guests, and then it just builds and builds and builds and gets easier.
That part makes perfect sense. Yeah. But it's like the earliest stages. If you could, who would be like the 3 people in the world that you would want to have on your show?
Gary's my end boss. Gary V is my end boss. When I get Gary,
the one thing about Gary though is I feel like you would like be able to predict everything he says already though.
Yes, I know.
It'd still be awesome.
But I said in my pilot episode that I referenced Gary V, and I've talked about him more than anyone.
I've heard you talk about him,
in all my episodes.
So that'd be your number 1 guy.
I would literally tell him, I was like, Gary, you are my end boss. I've gotten you on. I've achieved my Gary V goal. And I don't give a shit what we talk about, but like
that's just the fact of getting him.
That was I haven't reached out to them at all. When I do, I'll probably have at least another year under my belt.
Right.
And I'll probably be reaching out to all of his circles and influences.
Yeah. He's got his like guys that he works with that he posts and stuff like that.
Those people. So like I can get real strategic with it. And really fuck their inboxes up. So.
Yeah. That's awesome. Who else? Have you had a magic button? Are you going to get like some more people? Two more people. You're anyone in the world, they're gonna say yes.
I mean, I don't want to say never, but I'm always the biggest. I've always been a huge Tiger Woods fan. He's a phenomenal
That'd
guy.
be
Like,
amazing.
but he's not really, he wouldn't consider himself an influencer. He hardly does any interviews for like regular television.
Right.
So like, so that's almost like a pipe dream. But I'd have to get up to a place, like get to like a Gary Vee level just to get access to Tiger.
Right.
So we'll scratch that. So
yeah.
A couple other people. I really wanted to get on. I'm blanking on his name right now. He's a prankster. Or there's one pranker over in England that I wanted to get on, and then there's one, the real Tarzan. I wanted to get that guy on, the guy with the animals.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen that before.
Yeah, he's a hilarious.
I feel
dude.
like those are obtainable ones. Like,
yeah, those are obtainable. Like,
right.
yeah, but there's a couple. There's no others besides Gary. There's no others that I like really would.
Jeff Bezos, Kanye West.
Jeff. So again, those are just like true moguls and business people. They're not. Yeah, that'd be amazing to have them.
Right,
but,
right. But you want to fit in your niche, right?
But honestly, they have to have a big social presence. Right. So I've always said, there's people reaching out to me all the time. It's like, hey, I've been a manager of this business, a multi-million-dollar business. This is the thing. I just released a book. And then I'm like, well, maybe this is over LinkedIn. I'm like, can you send me your Instagram handle? And they're like, okay. And they have like maybe 500 followers, which again, followers is not the end all be all.
But you're trying to get your credibility to be able to land someone like Gary Vee one day.
But my podcast, you have to have social media be a big part of your business. So if you're just a pure businessman in the back and you're just like sitting in the room and controlling all the levers, but you're not actually front facing, I'm not going to have you on. So I always tell people, it's like, man, I'm sorry. Like, even if you were a billionaire, you reached out to me, but you didn't have a social presence, I would not have you on. I apologize.
Yeah. I mean, that's cool that you like understand what you're going for, and that is going to help you get bigger and bigger guests too. It's just the credibility, and you're talking about the social media stuff, and they haven't succeeded in that part. I might have someone like that on talking about business and stuff, but since it's about the influencers thing, that makes sense.
Yeah, so that's why I wanted to set it apart, because there's lots of business shows, and every business show has their different thing, and that's fantastic. But I didn't want it to just be a business show. I wanted it to be a social business show.
So you figure that out in your clarity stage, right?
Clarity stage. Awesome. That was before I defined it. So
that's awesome. One other thing I saw you say that I love that I want to talk about was you're talking about your flexing your muscle of not giving a fuck. You're not give a fuck muscle. That stuck out to me when I was listening to some of your things, because I love that. Because like I've started recently, and like, yeah, sometimes I'm like, should I post stuff? But like that muscle is like getting stronger for me. And like it's kind of, and this is a related question. Like, so for somebody who has a 9-to-5 job, and you talked about before, I heard you say that like that you can still use your Instagram or your social media to help you with like whatever thing you're in. Like, even if you're not trying to start a podcast or some type of content service or whatever.
Right.
Like, so for just like general people, somebody who might not be interested in doing what me or you are doing, but like, how can they use social media to help them? And like, should everyone flex their not give a fuck muscle on social media? Or is that just for people that are trying to like kind of build up themselves?
Everyone should. So for the not give a fuck muscle, so that I didn't originally coin that. That was Jason Capital.
Okay.
So he's a big kind of macho influencer guy on social media.
Okay.
He rubs a lot of people the wrong way, but he rubs a lot of people the right way. And that's another good point. You need to be polarizing on social media so that you get the right audience to get with you and the wrong audience to lead. So that's another point. But just as far as your question, so we can take an example of I don't know, what's a common job you see in Charleston, South Carolina? Fishermen, or like
like a waitress.
I mean, Charleston is a cool city.
It's an awesome city. A lot of the jobs are like hospitality jobs.
Yeah, hospitality. So okay, so let's take a waitress, whatever.
Okay,
do a waitress. So we'll do a fine dining waitress.
Yeah, someone can make a lot of money at some nice restaurants.
You can make at least 6 figures.
You make $100,000 a year. Yeah.
So you have 2 waitresses. It's called Sarah and Ellen. I don't know. Those are the first 2 that came to mind.
Okay, Sarah and Ellen.
So Sarah, they're both equally skilled. They're both like 25. They're both attractive. They're both good at what they do. They know the menu. They know the wines. They know all this stuff. But Sarah never posts on social media ever. Maybe she has a private account. Maybe she posts like once in a blue moon or once in a blue moon story with her family or her cousin or whatever. She's just like, she's using social media for personal reasons, which is fine, whatever.
Yeah.
But then Ellen, who has the same job at a different restaurant, a competing restaurant, Ellen constantly posts stories about maybe a new customer that she had, or her serving this wine to someone. And granted, you can't take your phone and like video it maybe at the table, but maybe you can get
Figure
your
it out.
coworker to video you serving some wine or
Right.
whatever. So she says like and she posts like had a great day serving, this amazing gentleman who's like, owns a sports apparel company in downtown Charleston. If you ever need some sports related gear to go check out his stuff, like building other people up as you're doing what you're doing. And then once you start doing that, other people will see you, tag them, and they'll repost you and be like, if you ever go to this restaurant, go to Sarah. She's the absolute best at recommendations for the menu and for the wine pairings. And like, you got to go to her. So then you get people coming to the restaurant asking for freaking Sarah or Ellen. Sorry, I'm getting
Yeah.
Asking for freaking Ellen. Asking for Ellen because Ellen's been posting on social media, pumping up the restaurant and then pumping up the customers, again, with their permission.
Right.
People start to get asked for Ellen. And then if they don't get Ellen, they might leave the restaurant. And so then the restaurant's like, well, shit, Ellen is like bringing all this traffic to the restaurant. She has this social media profile that she's building up. Like,
dude, that's so true.
We better treat Ellen a little better because she's important for our business. So they may give Ellen a raise or like a bonus.
Right.
If Ellen's not happy with what they're giving her, Ellen can leverage her social media presence and her experience to get a job at a different restaurant. Or I don't know, if she wants to level up and go to like a wine company, and start selling wine products. If she loves wine, like whatever it is, like social media just opens all of these doors for you that would not be open for you if you had not posted.
That's so true. That's so true. I love that. And like, so for everyone that's listening that might not want to start a podcast or be some type of social influencer in everyone's own little world, because everyone has a job and a career, you can use the social media to benefit you. If you're in sales and you have clients looking at your social media, you can either have nothing or something, and the something can definitely help you. So I think for everyone, it really does apply. It's just kind of like selling yourself, but the restaurant example is great. I love that.
Yeah, it's a win-win situation. Whatever, like you're not going to lose like by posting. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Yeah, so, and I think this might be kind of dumb too, but like my dad passed away when I was 12, and I don't have a lot of like pictures and like stuff like that. Like you're leaving like a little trail of your life, and that's kind of cool too, just for like your kids and like in the future.
That's a whole nother conversation. Is like we are going to be the patriarchs and matriarchs of our family one day.
It makes me so happy.
If we make it to 80 or 90, and I did a couple fun tweets about this. I was like, wouldn't it be so cool if like, your grandkids or whatever, like, Grandpa, what were you like back in 2020? And you're like, well, shit, I'm glad you asked. You pull up a file of all your past Instagram archive stories. It's like, here you go. And they can watch that for like 10 hours straight because you were posting a ton.
That should be motivation for anyone to do it. Like just for your future kids. My great-great-grandpa, he's basically vanished from the world because the stories are gone. The people who had stories of him are gone. There's like maybe one picture of him, and who knows, he could have been the man. So
like my grandfather, I'm a quarter Chinese. My grandfather grew up in Beijing.
Yeah.
And he wrote a memoir, which was great because that's something we can remember him by.
That's so cool.
I can't couple that memoir to like actual images of him as a dam engineer in South America as a Chinese. Like,
did he write a memoir like just for this purpose?
Just to have something to remember him.
So if he would have had social media, he probably would have been a guy that posted a lot.
He would have been a guy to post for sure. Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome.
He was Chinese, like he barely spoke English at first, but then and that's how I started playing cards. Like we would play with little rice sticks. I play against golf and poker. Those are my two like hobbies. So like,
that's awesome.
Two of my main hobbies. So
that's so cool, man. That's awesome. Yeah. So that's a lot of valuable stuff. I'm going to end with, I know you have your rapid fire questions at the end. I don't have as many good ones, but I saw one that you always asked, which I don't know if anyone ever asked you back, is what's your spirit animal?
My spirit animal?
Isn't that something that you ask on yours?
I asked that recently to
I might have heard it because I listened to
the LA girl. She said a panda. Yeah. But off the top of my head, my spirit animal, I'm giving it more thought than I probably should.
See, I thought it might be funny that you ask other people.
It's hard to get it back off the top of your head. I would say probably like I love penguins. Penguin maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. The penguin, they're just like so savvy and they like last so long, and sometimes they spend such long times in harsh conditions, but they're always kind of happy and sliding around. So they're always jolly. But they don't have easy lives, but they just know what they're about. And
I do think of happy when I think of a penguin.
Yeah, and maybe they're not happy intrinsically as animals, but they're painted to be pretty damn happy.
That's awesome,
humans.
man. That's awesome. So yeah, anything else you want to end with? Tell us where to find you, where everyone can go connect with you.
Yeah, no, so appreciate you having me on. I hope it was helpful for people listening. You can find me. I'll just give you my personals, Aaron B. Patton on Instagram, and then aaronbpatton.com. So that's B in the middle as in boy, aaronbpatton.com. And you can find all my stuff from both those accounts and that website. So yeah, I do a lot of different things on Instagram, both serious and not serious. So
yeah,
I try to entertain and educate at the same time.
I like that. And when I was listening to you yesterday, I posted a couple of like silly things on my story just because I was like, yeah, a good point, Aaron. Like try to be kind of fun and authentic too, besides for just the business content.
So mix it up. Keep people guessing.
I like that. So you influenced me a little bit there. And your podcast is amazing. The New Age Influencers. You got your course coming out. You're crushing it. So everyone go check out Aaron. And boom, thanks for listening. Peace out.